It's as strong as a spell. I'll never tell. Yeah, I like you, that's for sure.
Hi guys, welcome back to Exmo Lex. Today I want to talk about something that I've had on my mind for the past few days, and I hope this is the type of video where we can have like a discussion in the comments because I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. I've noticed, and I'm sure that if any of you have been involved in like Mormon and ex-Mormon online spaces, you might have noticed this as well, that members of the Mormon Church seem pretty threatened by pretty much everything that ex-Mormons do, online and offline. But the thing that gets my attention the most and that I've been thinking about is when they seem like they are offended, unhappy, or threatened by things that ex-Mormons do that Mormons also do in a different way. For example, the Mormon Church is something that you can become a part of. You can literally be baptized as a member of it. It's an organization, it's a community. And Mormons are very proud of that. As a Mormon, I remember being, very happy and very pleased with myself to be a member of this church. It was something that I took a lot of pride in. It was something that I felt like brought me closer to the people around me. I had a community of people, and honestly, it's one of the things that the Mormon Church gets the most correct. They have a very good sense of community. But during my time on the internet as an active and outspoken ex-Mormon, I've noticed that Mormons, really dislike the fact that ex-Mormons have their own communities. Now, obviously, we don't have the same type of community as the Mormon Church. I mean, their community is very, very structured. It's very organized. I mean, they keep track of all of their members. They have a hierarchy. They have leadership. The ex-Mormon community doesn't have any of that, which in my opinion is actually a good thing. But we do have a community. We have spaces on the internet that we have created specifically for us. We have the r/ex-Mormon Reddit page. We have groups on Facebook dedicated to ex-Mormons, people who were members of the church. We have, little spaces on Twitter where we follow each other and get to know each other. We have spaces like this on YouTube or on TikTok or on a podcast where we get together and we discuss ideas and we have discussions in the comments and we meet new people, we make friends. And oftentimes ex-Mormons, after meeting each other online, end up becoming friends in real life as well. And it's obviously not like this is a thing that only ex-Mormons do, right? I mean, there are tons of spaces on the internet for every type of community imaginable. But one of the reasons that the ex-Mormon community is so important for so many people is because when you leave the Mormon Church, a lot of times you really lose that sense of community that you had when you were a member. When you're a member of the church, you're, really encouraged to make friends that are members of the church. And the church doesn't like, apostates. They don't like outsiders. They don't like people who talk about the church in a negative way. And so a lot of times leaving the church, no longer being a member, being seen as that person that walked away or that was offended or whatever, it can be really difficult to maintain the same types of relationships that you once had with members of the church. So when we leave the church, we feel like a deep loss from that and we go searching for a new community. I know that when I was questioning the church and going through my faith crisis and all of that, that was one of the first things I did was go online and search for ex-Mormon communities so I could talk to other people who had been through the same thing. When I think about that now, it seems like the obvious thing to do for a lot of people. Like, this is something that a lot of people are going to resonate with. It's going to make sense to a lot of people because being a member of the Mormon Church is a huge deal for us when we're members. It's your whole life. Your whole life revolves around this religion, this gospel, and losing it is a really, really, really big deal. So of course you're going to want to discuss that and make friends with people who understand you, because I mean, it really is crushing in a way that a lot of people will never understand unless they go through it. And yet I see Mormons often go online and make fun of ex-Mormons for creating a community. They make fun of us for, identifying as an ex-Mormon. Like, why would you identify as something that you're not? And I even had a family member that was like, why would you need a community? I mean, they don't get it. And I find that very interesting coming from a group, a community that is so tightly knit. Like, I'm sure if you thought about it hard enough, you could understand why people go in search of a new community when they lose the most important one in their life. Another thing that I've obviously noticed that Mormons really dislike is when I talk about the church. The thing that's the most interesting about this is that I don't even necessarily need to talk about the church negatively. I don't need to make fun of the church or, you know, do anything that's like mean-spirited. I can just talk about my own personal experience, and I will still get Mormons in my comments berating me for doing that. And here's something that's interesting about that. As many of you know, Mormonism is very much a missionary organization. A huge part of Mormonism, a huge part of this religion is preaching the gospel, spreading it far and wide, telling absolutely everybody about it. And their identities are very wrapped up in it. So you'll notice if you have Mormon friends or family that both in person and online, they often bring up the church as part of casual conversation. They talk about the church, you know, functions that they're going to. They talk about the callings that they have at church. They talk about their kids' activities in the church. When they post online, they're posting about baby blessings. They post about baptisms. They post about youth activities. They post about going to the temple, even just like as a date night. That stuff gets posted. Most Mormons talk about the church a lot. Now, obviously, I am very outspoken about the church online. And I'm very aware that no matter what you talk about online, there will be people that have something negative to say about it. I get angry comments and angry emails from Mormons every single day. And the whole reason that they do that is simply because I talk about the church online in a negative way, or in a way that they don't agree with. And I personally find that funny. They are so happy to talk about the church online themselves. They will get up and make, you know, a huge post on Facebook about how happy they are that their child chose to be baptized, and, you know, make this big long post with all these pictures and talk about Jesus and all of these things, and they think that's wonderful. But if I do the same thing in reverse, if I go on Facebook and I make a post saying, I've decided to leave the church and here are some reasons why, and here is what I believe now instead. Even if I say nothing negative about the church, even if it's all just about my own thoughts and feelings, I will have Mormons in my comments just being so angry. Isn't that funny? Why are you so threatened? Why are they so threatened by ex-Mormons having a community, having people to talk to? It's not even like a real organization. There is no leadership. It's just people. Why are you threatened by that? Why are you threatened when ex-Mormons speak their truths? You've been taught to speak your truth and you're so happy to do so, but when we do the same thing, you get so angry. And here's the thing, I know I do make a lot of videos where I criticize the Mormon church. Sometimes I even, you know, am sarcastic and I poke fun at Mormonism. Usually I try to do that like, here's things that I did as a Mormon. So I'm not trying to, you know, go out of my way to be rude to other people. I'm trying to point out that I used to do these things. This is what my mindset was like. I've seen this happen from that perspective. And I try to point out the flaws with that. And I'm not trying to do that to, you know, be mean to people or to demonize them. I'm trying to show that I have changed my mind. I no longer agree with what I was like. And point out the flaws and criticize so that hopefully people don't make the same mistakes that I did. And here's the thing, even if I'm only posting things that are critical, even if I'm only posting things that you see as negative, that's because I had a negative experience. I still feel like I should be completely free to talk about that in the way that you're completely free to go online and talk about your positive experience. And I'm not going to bother you for doing that. I'm interested in why people, as members of the Mormon Church, are so threatened by the existence of somebody who feels the opposite way as them. I'm curious what you guys think about this. So if you are interested and you want to discuss this in the comments, what are your thoughts? Why are Mormons so threatened by ex-Mormons having a community and talking about the church? If the church is true, nothing ex-Mormons do should make a difference. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Probably like 70 to 80% of the people who watch my channel are not subscribed. So if you enjoy the content, I would appreciate it. Huge thank you to my patrons for supporting the channel. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your support. An extra special thank you to Craig Call, Doug Davis, Noble Master Comics, Tans, and the Exmo Candle Co. for supporting at the Demon tier on my Patreon. If you would like to support the channel, there are links to do so in the description below, as well as links to all my other social media if you would like to see more content. Thank you again for being here. Remember to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Never tell, just trust that I'll keep it locked in a cell. Never